Something is seriously wrong with this country. What happened to Oklahoma? There's always all this talk about politics, but I don't know why people haven't talked about how weird the actual United States are. Originally, the US was just a nice clump of Native American land with no real boundaries other than nature. Then this dude came over and said, interesting, alerting Britain, who wanted in on some of that free land. The British looked at this chunk and called it Virginia. Then 12 colonies later, they compared sizes and decided it was time to move out for good. So after the new guys won a big battle, they learned how to look left and decided to follow in their dad's footsteps and take land that wasn't theirs. So they went west, each with a really big pencil, drawing intricate borders to these brand new states. Apparently this got too annoying, so they just went into straight lines, defining more and more states as they went, eventually leading us to the United States we have today. An even 50 states with very normal borders. Okay, you know where this is going. There are seriously so many issues here. Oh yeah, it's totally fair that Texas just gets all this, and Rhode Island is just the spectator seating for the football field that is Connecticut. There's all these weird lines, straight lines, and totally disconnected areas. This isn't brought up enough because I know you're confused about this too. So I'm gonna put this together piece by piece and fix this country. United States 2. Here we got the map. I think our first priority is figuring out the main border issue, the lines. People think, oh, why don't you just make them all even in size and in the same shape? That would be more fair. To which I say, which one is which? Yeah, nobody knows. So I think it's to our advantage to make the borders more complicated to be more easily recognizable. Like this chef guy here, going along with natural borders rather than imaginary ones. On the east, I think we're doing just fine, but this column onwards, I think we have some issues. Let's start with Texas. There's always this back and forth on and on about Texas leaving and becoming their own country. Okay, North and South Dakota have this fun little border here, and a bunch of lame ones. So I propose the Missouri River Split. Pretty self-explanatory. It'll just follow along the Missouri River, like this, and still both Dakota, but with the lack of North and South, we'll have Left Dakota and Right Dakota. Then I started the video with this, but I'm actually a fan of the Oklahoma Strip, so we'll run with it. To the west, we got the Four Corners, and that's cool and all, but have you seen the Earth view of this place? There's this whole shape of orange and beige, this whole new dimension of red rocks and stuff. And right here, we got Goblin Valley. You're telling me that goblins are just chilling there? It's only a matter of time before the goblins forcefully expand, so we need to give them more land to keep them at bay. We're gonna follow along this line, staying inside the green for the most part. This is gonna be a new state, the Goblin Zone. This helps the Wyoming-Colorado square issue, but just to reinforce it, we're gonna make this Idaho snake longer. These mountains will slingshot over here, take all this, and that'll be the guide for the Idaho snake to swallow more land. Along the mountains, down, connecting to the Goblin Zone. So that's all still Idaho. Gotta change the color of Colorado. Great, now let's talk about another big problem, fairness in size. It's very clear that the West has much more land, so real quick, let's clean up the East. See all these guys? They are all now Newer Hampshire. West Virginia implies East Virginia, so we're gonna solve this confusion by giving them all to Maryland. Man, this color issue is kind of complicated. Maryland gets this color. Give more to Pennsylvania. Look at how clean that looks. Now, can we mention how OP the California coast is? All the stuff you hear about in that entire state is happening right along here. Clearly, they're just too good for the rest of the land, so we'll just give them the old Chile treatment. Coast only. This is for Oregon, this is for Arizona, this is for Nevada, and then this last piece will actually cut through Nevada to continue the Idaho snake. You might be thinking this is too much of a nerf to Nevada, but Nevada's only character trait was Las Vegas anyway. That's a good point, actually. Cool, let's clean this up a little. Then we got another color issue, pink. Now we gotta address a big problem, the states and the territories. We've always learned about the 50 nifty states or whatever, but it took me a long time to even know there was more to the United States than that. Territories are basically land owned by the US, but aren't necessarily super involved. There's a whole bunch of them kind of doing their own thing, but there's a few that have been in the talk for statehood for quite a while now. Puerto Rico, south and east of the US, tons of culture and people, will bring it in as a state. US Virgin Islands, it's right next to Puerto Rico. Actually, let's just make it part of Puerto Rico. Fit those on here. Not to scale, I have no idea. Then finally, our country's capital, Washington, D.C. If Rhode Island was too small, This is even worse. Sorry about it. All right, now it's time for those bonus features. The US flag hinges on the fact that there's 50 states with the 50 stars, but that might not add up anymore. So now we're looking at 44 states. One major problem I have with the old flag is it just looks like a grid of dots. Like there's nothing special here. I'm not even thinking about stars. So what if we just made the stars the focus? Blue flag to represent the night sky, scattered with a bunch of stars across the background. Are there really 44 stars? I don't know, you tell me. Nobody's gonna count it, so it's not my problem. Then to get the whole 13 colonies thing, we'll get the stripes from the original flag and put them on the right here. Yeah, it'll just be half and half. Actually, what if we do this diagonal thing? Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's just bring this in here now. Now we're just gonna kindly ask Canada for the rest of this strip here, so Alaska can feel more included. Actually, to make it a fair trade, they can have Texas. Cool, guys. The United States is 44 better than the last one, and it's as good as it's gonna get. I'm proud to have been the one to fix this country and all its problems. This is actually currently in effect. I'm awaiting the confirmation letter from the United States government. That's all. Subscribe.